Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Now at 6, it's the news no one wants to hear. We are tracking more summertime showers and storms. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Julian Grace. Well, let's talk more about it. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is here now to walk us through where we can see more rain.
And certainly, Julian, after this past week with all the shower and storm activity, I know a lot of people thinking, okay, when are we going to start to dry out? Tomorrow does look really nice. We still just have a few light showers on radar right now. Let's get us over to Dual Doppler 5000, show you what's going on. We have this cell pushing just to the west of Clinton right now. Roseboro in your area, we head just to the east of Fayetteville. Most of these are pushing up to the north and east, and we don't see any lightning with that one, but certainly some moderate to heavy rainfall. Heading a little bit further to the east, Goldsboro in your direction, we're seeing some showers in that part of our viewing area. Wilson, also a few light sprinkles. And you kind of see that trend here. Very summer-like, where we have a few just to the west of the city of Raleigh, even up towards South of Virginia. Very sporadic coverage, but places like Clayton, Smithfield may have a couple of these here in the next little while. There is Futurecast we head through tonight. This is not going to be a washout. It's just going to be once we have that daytime heating gone here in the next couple of hours, it will start to quiet down. Overnight tonight, again, maybe a stray shower there by about 10 to 11 o'clock or so, but looking good. Let's talk about Monday, though, because this is going to be our next weather alert day. We have the latest update here from the Storm Prediction Center. They have upgraded our entire viewing area here to a level 2 out of 5 risk into Monday afternoon and evening. We will talk about the specific threats here that we could face at home and the forecast through the rest of the weekend coming up here just a little bit, Julian.
All right, thanks, Anthony. As always, you can track weather in your area minute by minute using the WRAL weather app. It's free to download on Google Play and the Apple App Store. It is a great app to have. Let's go to some breaking news in Russia. We've learned that the head of a notorious mercenary army will be sent to the country of Belarus in a deal that is a high-stakes insurrection against Vladimir Putin. The Wagner Group, a private military company, has withdrawn from their positions at Russia's military headquarters in southwestern Russia. And the group's war chief, once a close friend of Putin, will avoid prosecution and live in exile. Alex Hogan has more on today's startling and fast-moving developments.
I think this negotiation cycle is broken.
Escalations in Russia after the Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin called for an armed rebellion to the country's defense minister for allegedly attacking the group in Ukraine. The mercenary group saying that they reached Russia's military headquarters in the city of Rostov-on-Don without any violence. On Saturday, the group led by Yevgeny Prigozhin appearing to march north toward Moscow as the Russian capital braced for the arrival of the private army, setting up checkpoints with armed vehicles and restricting some roads. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned earlier that the Kremlin would not tolerate the mutiny.
Any turmoil is a deadly threat to our statehood, to us as a nation. This is a blow to Russia, to our people. And our actions to protect the fatherland from such a threat will be tough.
Prigozhin has reportedly since called off the march to avoid bloodshed. Experts say this could be one of the biggest threats to Putin's leadership in decades. Prigozhin was once his protege and has been instrumental in Russia's war against Ukraine, meaning the split could present a window for Ukraine and its allies to turn the tide.
There is an opportunity here. You know that Putin's been caught flat-footed, so the next 24, 48, 72 hours are going to be crucial.
The Wagner Group leader has reportedly ordered his soldiers to return to their bases. In London, Alex Hogan, WRAL News.
There is so much more to talk about here. UNC professor Grammy Robertson is an expert on Eastern Europe. Now, we spoke with him today to get his perspective on these stunning developments.
To the extent that this weakens the Russian war effort, it's good news from the West's perspective. To the extent that it creates uncertainty about what could come after Putin, and the possibility that what we need to be realistic about is that even if Putin were to go, which as I've mentioned I think is unlikely, but if he were to go, that doesn't mean he's going to be replaced by somebody better, right? And it doesn't mean that Russia will turn to democracy and freedom and peace, right? It could easily be worse.
Oh, very strong words there. We will stay on top of the situation in Russia, and there will be much more coming up on NBC Nightly News right after this newscast. Today marks 1 year since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke on reproductive rights in Charlotte. WRAL's Shelley Jackson joins us live now from the Planned Parenthood in Raleigh. Shelley.
Well, Julian, the vice president used her speech today to call for a national law which would restore the protections of Roe.
Exactly 1 year to the day that the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe, Vice President Kamala Harris taking the fight for reproductive freedom to North Carolina.
And next week, overruling the will of the people, North Carolina will be the latest state with an extreme ban, in spite of the best efforts of Governor Roy Cooper.
North Carolina's new 12-week ban goes into effect next Saturday. In the year since the Dobbs decision, 20 states have banned or severely restricted abortion. And according to an NBC News poll, 61% of registered voters disagree with the Supreme Court's decision.
And so, over the past 365 days, the women of our nation have suffered under the consequences of these laws.
Planned Parenthood in North Carolina is already scheduling patients for the new in-person 72-hour consent visit, which patients scheduled for abortions next Saturday will have to meet.
We do expect that this could be an insurmountable barrier for many people.
The Republican National Committee issuing a statement saying the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision rightfully overturned flawed judicial precedent. The decision has saved countless lives and set America on a positive course. The vice president vowing the Biden administration will defend reproductive rights for everyone.
But we know this fight will not truly be won until we secure this right for every American.
And now Planned Parenthood will be in a federal court next week, aiming to lift some of the restrictions on SB 20. Julian?
Shelley Jackson reporting live in Raleigh for us tonight. Thank you. We have new information about a man critically hurt in a shootout with law enforcement officers after neighbors say he barricaded himself inside a home in Kinley. Now, according to a Facebook post by his wife, he's out of the hospital and back at home. The post shows a picture with the caption, quote, "Daddy came home Thursday and the girls are over the moon to have him home." On June 11th, the neighbor said he called 911 after hearing screaming between Joshua Haynes and his wife at their new home on Wilson Street. Kinley police say a man was hospitalized in critical condition after a shootout with law enforcement officers. WRAL spoke with the police today, who said they could not comment on the case. WRAL is also waiting to hear back from the DA. A search of court records does not indicate Haynes currently faces any charges related to this incident. A fired Greensboro police officer faces a sex charge. Investigators said the incident occurred on May 31st. Police say Miguel Garcia completed his shift, left work in his police vehicle in uniform, and met the victim, who's known to him. Investigators said the victim suffers from a mental disability. Now, investigators say Miguel Garcia was charged with 1 count of second-degree forcible sex offense. The department fired him yesterday.
I hate it. I hate it for my officers. Overwhelmingly, the majority of officers out here are doing exactly what we want them to do, meeting our expectations, meeting the community's expectations. And an officer representing our police department came out and just made a horrible decision in what they did, and it reflects upon all of us.
We found out Garcia had been on the Greensboro police force since February of last year. New tonight, an activity bus carrying a football team from Western North Carolina was involved in a crash near the Johnston County and Sampson County line. You're looking at video from the scene on Harnett-Dunn Highway. Witnesses at the scene tell us only one person had a minor injury. The road was closed for about 2 hours. Witnesses say a Sampson County activity bus arrived and took the team back to Western North Carolina. Glad to hear everybody is okay. Well, thousands of people took to downtown Raleigh today. Coming up, hear from attendees who showed up to celebrate and support the LGBTQ+ community. And middle schoolers flocked to WRAL studios today, hoping to become the next host of North Carolina Explorers. Coming up, we talked with leaders of the show's production about the audition process. You're taking a live look at downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street, where the Pride Festival is just wrapping up. A couple of people milling around right there. Well, welcome back. In the last few minutes, Out Raleigh Pride wrapped up its 11th year downtown. The music, rainbow, flags, and thousands of attendees were unmistakable. But as WRAL's Eric Miller tells us, for some who attended, supporting LGBTQ rights feels even more urgent this year.
In downtown Raleigh, a sea of rainbows. Thousands showing their support for the LGBTQ community, from four-legged friends to families.
I'm just here to support everybody and have a good day.
Jordan Madre says she wanted to attend Out Raleigh Pride for more than just the music and vendors.
Especially with her growing up, we want to make sure that she goes into kindergarten knowing that everybody's loved, that everybody's feelings matter, and everybody needs the same rights.
Saturday's festival featured dozens of local shops, food trucks, games, and more spread across half a mile. Both ends flanked by bands, including the Triangle Gay Men's Chorus, giving it their all. But this year, there's tension at the end of Fayetteville Street, as Out Raleigh Pride is faced with a legislature considering 6 different bills targeting members of the LGBTQ community. The legislation would ban gender-affirming surgery for minors, ban state funds for being used for gender-affirming care, and ban trans girls from youth sports, among other things. But those bills don't sit well with the crowds downtown.
I don't want to see anybody's rights under attack.
Definitely important to know that people are loved and supported.
I think it shows how the community here is and what we support, and the gap of the legislature of knowing their constituents.
Rick Hodge and his partner Mike Carney have been together for 7 years.
We come every year.
Saturday, he says the best part of Out Raleigh Pride is the support, from crowds to corporations. That sea of rainbows that only seems to get bigger year after year.
That's amazing. That's a very big difference from a few years, not too many years ago.
In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Security was heightened at the event this year because there was a national warning this month about protections for LGBTQ Americans. Police tell us there were no serious confrontations today. Middle schoolers descended upon WRAL today in the hopes of becoming the next host of a TV show. The show is called North Carolina STEM Explorers, and it's designed to encourage middle school age learners to explore STEM concepts. We talked with the president of the production company today to walk us through the process of picking the host.
We have a board of directors that will be watching all the videos, and we'll narrow it down to 10, then 5, then 1.
Oh, there's so much talent right there. The educational outreach will air on WRAL this fall. I'm excited about that. New tonight, a Wake County athlete is taking home a silver medal from this year's Special Olympics World Games in Berlin. You're looking at pictures of Erin Cagle celebrating her second place finish. She earned her silver medal in the vaulting category of gymnastics, representing Team USA. Congratulations, Erin, and way to go to bring it back here to the Triangle. We are so excited for you. Anthony, that rain just won't go away.
It won't, but thankfully it's really not as widespread as what we saw this past week, right? We're seeing some sunshine, we're seeing the hot temperatures, and then those spotty showers and storms here on radar as we speak. Let's talk about where we sit right now. So it is certainly not going to be a washout here as we head through the rest of tonight, but if you're headed out and about, some of these cells could have some moderate to heavy rainfall. We've been watching these push across our area. Places like Clinton, probably going to see some more rainfall here fairly shortly. Roseboro, this is in your direction, not in Fayetteville right now, maybe just a few light sprinkles. And as you head up toward Dunn, looking pretty dry as well. We head up to the north and east. Goldsboro looking pretty good, but some light showers to your east at this point, headed toward eastern North Carolina. And we head up a little bit further to the north as well. Raleigh, Garner, Apex, everyone here in the central part of the Triangle looking pretty good. But you notice back toward Pittsboro, between Chapel Hill and Pittsboro, that cell is continuing off to the east. Fuquay, Varina, and you're also seeing some light ones at this point. No lightning showing up, which is good. And we head up toward Virginia and Mecklenburg County. This is going to head toward towards South Hill and Chase City, also seeing some showers in your area. So very sporadic coverage here, just hit or miss tonight. That's what we will continue to go for through the rest of this evening. Otherwise, if you don't get them, you should see lots of sunshine. It will be a hot rest of our Saturday, and those heat index values into next week. I'll show you in just a second. They get even hotter here over the next couple of days. Into the day tomorrow, though, very similar to today, low 90s for high temperatures. It'll still feel humid. We will not have any rainfall, though, here at home, but we may see a few showers and storms there at the beaches. Otherwise, though, looking like a pretty good day as well. 82 there in Wrightsville, 85 in Nags Head, a whopping 90 degrees there in Wilmington here as we head into tomorrow. Let's focus here as we head into Monday of early next week. I know it's a couple days in advance, but this is going to be our next weather alert day. And what the Storm Prediction Center has done in kind of a rare occasion, they don't necessarily update the day 3 outlook, what we call it here, very often until it gets to be kind of a potential that we need to pay very close attention to it. We did have this level 2 risk in place, and they have expanded it to include all of eastern North Carolina, all of our viewing area at this point. There is Futurecast heading through the day on Monday. As it stands right now, and there's a lot of back and forth between the models, but it looks like most of the first half of the day, even into the early afternoon, should be pretty dry. We will see tons of sunshine. It will be hot. Heat index values, as feels like temperatures, could be at 100 degrees Monday afternoon. So it's going to be a very hot and humid day. There is 6 o'clock, still relatively quiet, but as we head later on into the evening, let's say late afternoon into the evening, we could see a pretty strong line of storms coming through. Looks like some damaging wind gusts, maybe some very large hail would be the primary threats with that one. So that's going to be a day we're going to have to focus very closely on. I'll keep you updated as here we go throughout the weekend. Let's talk about Tropical Storm Cindy. 60-mile-per-hour winds with this one as it continues to head up toward Bermuda, likely to weaken. Still going to be a tropical storm for the next couple of days, but this looks like it is going to fizzle. Brett, also in the Caribbean, has fizzled out, which is great. Other than that, we're quiet in the tropics. 94 there, the actual air temperature on Monday. It is going to be hot. That's our weather alert day. 87 on Tuesday. Looks like lots of sunshine, though, there, Julian, as we head into next week, and a whole lot of temperature still near that 90-degree mark.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. Casey, a friend once told me that rumors are just premature facts. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but there are a lot of rumors out there right now.
Yeah, there certainly are, of course, all surrounding the hurricanes and free agency and everything like that coming up. And the talks, of course, between Jordan Staal and the Hurricanes. Well, were they at a standstill? That's what the rumors say. Well, could the Canes captain really be on the move? I'll tell you next.
Just want to be here and want to be a part of this group. Love these guys and love this organization. It's been so much fun. Been so blessed to be here and be part of this as long as I have and the way it's headed. And I want to finish it off, finish my career off here.
Of course, that was Carolina Hurricanes captain Jordan Staal just days after the season ended in late May. The pending unrestricted free agent played out his 10-year contract, but clearly expressing there his desire to stay in Raleigh, and it was thought a new deal would get done quickly. But here we are a week out from free agency, not to mention yesterday we had reports come out that the talks between Staal and the Canes were at an impasse. Well, but as negotiations this time of year go, well, things can change quickly. Today I spoke with a source very close to the situation who tells me the conversations have actually picked up and they've been productive. He tells me they think they'll be able to get something done that works for both sides, and the Canes can make that announcement in a very short time. Of course, just as quickly, though, as things can move forward, they can also fall apart. But right now, the word from the Staal camp is encouraging. Well, the Canes have a handful of other pending unrestricted free agents to make some decisions on. Forwards Jesper Foss, Mackenzie McEachran, Paul Stasny, and Derek Stepan. Defensively, Calvin DeHaan and Shane Gostisbehere, who sounded pretty committed to testing out free agency for the first time in his career. And of course, in between the pipes, both Freddie Anderson and Antti Ranta, both UFAs, with Pyotr Kochetkov waiting in the wings. It'll be interesting to see what the Canes do here. Now, the NHL draft comes this Wednesday, and with a free agency following on July 1st. Well, Caroline is playing some of the best soccer in the NWSL right now, and it comes at a good time for not only the NC Courage, but her country as she gets ready to represent Brazil next month in the World Cup. The 23-year-old has 4 goals in her last 2 matches, and she currently leads the NWSL Golden Boot race for the league's highest score with 8 goals. Courage head coach Sean Nahas calls her untouchable in a different class, but the season hasn't always been easy for her.
I've said this before, I've been really hard on Caro, not because of anything she's done wrong. It's because I know that there was an untapped potential in there, and it's our job to get that out of her. And now she's playing with a smile on her face. She's playing free. She's playing with joy. And yeah, she's been extraordinary, and she's hitting her high streak heading into a major event. So we're excited to see her play.
The Courage, of course, host Racing Louisville tonight at Wake Med Soccer Park. It's also a twin bill at the DBAP tonight. Games 4 and 5 between the Bulls and Syracuse Mets. Boy, the fellas are riding a 3-game skid here, looking to turn that around tonight with Game 1 underway. This one in the 4th inning. Bulls down 3-2, but you still got some time. Get on out there for Game 2. Should be a beautiful evening for it. Don't forget, though, you can also always catch Durham Bulls home games on WRAL Plus, Channel 34 over the air, or 1257 on Spectrum. And as always, you can watch it anywhere WRAL is streamed. College baseball's national championship once again will be decided between two SEC foes, as number 2 Florida and number 5 LSU will meet in the College World Series finals tonight. Starting for the best-of-3 series, the Gators cruise through the first side of the brackets, coming in well-rested, while the Tigers survive 3 straight elimination games, including finishing Wake Forest off Thursday night. First pitch shortly after 7 p.m. from Omaha. Should be a good series there, Julian.
Yeah, it should be. You know what, Casey? I saw a couple of players here in the Triangle. They got NBA contracts. 2-way contracts recently.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff coming out of the NBA draft on Thursday or whenever that was, and hopefully they can find a way to make it onto a roster.
You know, a lot of times players think you have to be drafted to make it, but there's so many ways to get into the league.
Absolutely. Got something to prove now, right?
Yes, that's right. Thanks, Casey. And thanks for joining us. For more news and weather and sports, tune into WRAL News on Fox 58 today.